I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're talking about faith, finances, and finding financial freedom. The name of the book, Living to be a Blessing, a Money Makeover. In the book, Dr. Eartherline Downs shares a scripture-based approach to managing money, eliminating debt, and becoming a financial blessing to others. This powerful guide offers practical advice and biblical wisdom to help you transform your financial mindset and secure a prosperous future. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app streaming on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
When you think about faith and finances, you don't necessarily think they go together, but in reality, you do have to have a strong financial basis in this life in order to basically survive, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Money is something that God has blessed us with, and a lot of people don't believe that because maybe they're not having money, but He will meet our needs.
How can we tap into God's power to help us meet our needs? Where is faith involved? Where is prayer involved? What are some actionable steps that people can take?
Well, I think, and even in the book, if you get that, there are steps to take because God has blessed us, but He's also challenged us to walk in the blessings. So He said that He has given us everything we need. And so as we look into the book, Nehemiah is the book that I looked at when I wrote this book. Was about, they had some problems. They were in a desperate situation. They were in poverty, their walls were burned out, but God had promised to meet their needs. So as Nehemiah came to them to share with them, encourage them, his first gift was encouragement. And I think that's something that we can realize that we can encourage somebody even if we don't have a dime.
Yep.
So
Why
it
do you think
starts there.
why do you think so many people struggle with financial stress, even though they might even earn a good income?
Well, again, it's about what do we do with what we have.
Mhm.
Um, am I thinking about being the blessing, or am I thinking about just having money for myself, spending it? Think about the talent, the parable of the talents, when the master gave the servants 5 talents and 2 talents, and then 1 talent. The one with 5 talent, he put it to work. He did something and gained 5 more. The one with 2 talents did something, gained 2 more. But the one with 1 talent buried it, and he didn't do anything. So I believe the blessing, knowing that we're blessed, but also realizing that we are challenged to use the gift that we've been blessed with.
Hmm. Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about your ministry.
Okay. When I began Touch of Joy in 2003, again, I just remember, you may remember it, it's a long time ago. I remember the commercials and the stories where the different businesses and communities would come together. They would find a family who was in need, and they would put all of their needs together. And after weeks or two or whatever, they would come and tell the family to come back to their home. And they'd say, move that truck, and the people would receive the finished product. But it was because people had come together to make the impact. A lot of times I think we just want government or an individual that has money to come and do all the work, but each of us have a gift. And as we come together, we can make an impact in our communities. So I think it starts there, realizing that I have something to give.
Absolutely. What does it mean to be the blessing when it comes to money?
Well, if we think about what it is that we need and what it is that we want, we say, well, I could go out there and say, can you make this happen?
Mhm.
Or what have you given to me, God, to help make this happen? Can I like to use the example of here in Midwest, At the grocery store, they say buy 10 for 10, 10 for $10.
Mhm.
Buy 10 and become a blessing. Give one of those to somebody else. Give it to somebody else. Be the blessing. Maybe somebody doesn't have anything. Maybe the 10, you say, well, I need all 10. But if God will see that your heart is about helping someone else, you have the 10 and then some. He will always see, tells us in the Bible, that he'll make sure your needs are met, our needs are met, but he'll also make sure you have something to give to somebody else. It's scriptural. It's scripturally
Yeah.
sound, and God cannot lie.
Yeah. So basically, if God gives you abundance and he sees you sharing that abundance, you're likely to get more of that abundance.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
promise. It's a
Yeah.
promise.
Wonderful, wonderful. How do you think people can shift their focus from making money to managing it wisely?
Well, in the book, I share about budgeting, and for years, budgeting is something that God had put in my spirit. I still do taxes for people.
Mhm.
It's interesting to want a big refund at the end of the tax season, but I was told once that if you come out even, you've used your money wisely, you've had more to use through the year, and then you're able to, you may not get a big refund, but you've used your money and you've had money to use. So as we learn to balance our money, as we learn to
Mhm.
balance our resources, God will see, just like the talent, the parable of the talent, how the one just buried his and didn't do anything with it, but the others put theirs to work. Even a savings account,
Mhm.
I don't think a lot of people do savings account, but getting in the habit of putting aside some money. We
Mhm.
like to say, give money to God, but God still wants us to have some wisdom and put aside, what my mom and dad used to say, put aside something for a rainy day.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Talking about rainy days, now is a rainy day in a way. I mean, groceries are so expensive.
oh, yeah.
Rent is crazy. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
how anybody thinks about even buying a house anymore.
Yeah.
Restaurants are doubled from what they were just a few years ago.
Yeah.
Everything's so expensive,
Yeah.
you know? What do we do?
But God's promises are still true.
Mhm.
And as we talk about them and we encourage each other to do that, God's promises will still be true. Just like in Nehemiah, they were devastated, and Nehemiah was in a palace. He was a cupbearer. He was serving the king, but he started praying first. Praying is important, and he
Mhm.
realized that there was something he could do. And as he was beginning to go toward helping the people who needed to have their wall built, first of all, God blessed him with his boss. His boss gave him time off work to go and do this. His
Mhm.
boss also sent letters to the other kings that he was going to pass through to give him resources. And not, it could have been devastating going through somebody else's kingdom. But God will make things possible, so that somebody else will meet the need when you're least expecting it.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's
absolutely.
difficult, but we got to believe what he says.
Absolutely. Give the folks at home an overview of your book. What will they find when they crack the covers?
Okay, well, when they see it, it's a living to be a blessing. First of all, it talks about how we are to um, uh, effectively manage our money, effective biblical principles for money management, and then understand that our blessings that we receive are meant to serve others. Again, as we give, God's going to always give more to us to continue giving. How do we overcome those struggles? How do we come together to help? I used the example about the people coming together in a community to make an impact. Well, maybe my needs have been met, but next time maybe I'm on the team to help somebody else. So it's a financial struggle. But if I get the mindset that I can do something to help somebody else, not just look for the blessings to come to me all the time. So again, that God will show how my struggles will be handled, how they will be handled, how He'll bless me and to be a blessing. And then just practical steps. I believe that even in this time, well, it's always been this way, but even in this time, we're looking for answers. But as we're looking for answers, it's good to come together and to encourage and share what we're hearing. And as we're hearing that, we can go and say, this is my thing I'm going to do today to make an impact in my personal life. The change begins with me. What am I going to do to receive the change that God has promised that I could be? So if I'm struggling, God, you told me what I can do. I need to take the steps. I need to take the steps and be encouraged, because it can be discouraging while we're waiting. But waiting is not just sitting looking for God or somebody else to do something. Waiting is still taking action.
Absolutely. What do you hope readers take away from your book?
I hope that they will see it as not just another book, not just a mission, but a moving mission. That as we read it, we'll say, okay, now maybe I can come together with my neighbor, with my community. Maybe we can do one of the Move the Trucks initiatives, and we can begin to see, and there's examples in the book here about how we begin to see things differently, how we begin to how to stop judging people. It's easy to have thoughts about people who may be in different situations than we are, but they're not God's thoughts. So as we come together and remind each other, share our own stories, share our own faults, that's powerful. Because if we don't share that, we just kind of begin to think we're perfect and don't
Absolutely.
have any needs. So sharing, I think, is a big part of this. I hope that people will want to read this book and then share with their neighbors, their family, and really move to make an impact and a difference in their communities.
Exactly. It's extremely empowering. If it empowers you, empower your neighbor, empower your friend, empower your
Yes.
relative. Share
Yes.
this book, buy this book, spread the word. It's very, very important. The name of the book is Living to Be a Blessing, a Money Makeover. In it, the doctor shares a scripture-based approach to managing money, eliminating debt, and becoming a financial blessing to others. This powerful guide offers practical advice and biblical wisdom to help you transform your financial mindset and secure a prosperous future. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you for your time, your wit, your wisdom, and your insight to the folks at home. I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.